Welcome to Let's Talk TCI Real Estate, a show that is geared towards all things real estate in the Turks and Caicos Islands. It's always a pleasure to be in your home on a Thursday evening. I am so excited to talk about real estate. On the previous show, I did say to you that I would have in studio with me two special guests, and they are here. But before we get into the meat of the matter, I want to remind you to please like and share and let others know that Let's Talk TCI Real Estate is live. The other reminder I would like to say to you is last week I talked to you about getting in contact with your mortgage specialist at your primary bank just to make sure of any specials that are being run at the time. For the benefit of everybody else, just letting you know, if you are banking with RBC, they are running a special for the month of March in regards to mortgages. So if you are interested in any mortgage, please contact RBC and see what those specials will entail. Just for example, they may be waiving application fees. That's a savings on your mortgage, or they may be giving you a reduced down payment. So I'm just using it as an example so you could know that these specials help you with your process moving forward, and it's a good savings for you. So again, check with your primary bank, whether it's RBC, First Caribbean, Scotiabank, or the like, and find out if they are running any specials. But I know definitely RBC is running a special for March, so check in with them. So without any further delay, like I said, we're going to have a special topic today. And our topic is really about the residential homes in the Turks and Caicos Islands. We know that we have vacant lots, condos, residential homes. That's what the real estate market is really made up out of. But today we want to focus and zoom in a little on the residential side of it, just to see how it's evolved over the years and how it has affected our Turks and Caicos market here today. So without any further delay, I have in studio with me today, like I say, two special guests. They are very special and dear to me. And I'm not just saying that. I'm really happy to have them on the show. We have in the person of Carolina Malcolm from Regency Christie's and also Michael Bovell from Turks and Caicos Sotheby's. I'm going to allow them to further introduce themselves, starting with Carolina, if you could let us know a little bit more about you.
Okay, thank you, Vernica. Thank you for that. I'm excited to be here on Let's Talk Real Estate. As Vernica said, my name is Carolina Malcolm, and I've been a practicing agent with TCREA, the Turks and Caicos Real Estate Association, since 2005. I started with RE/MAX, and then I evolved onto working with Horton Realty, and then, like Vernica said, with Christie's. Regency Christie's, and we've now rebranded, so we're no longer Regency Christie's. We're now Christie's International Real Estate Turks and Caicos.
Great. Thank you so much, Michael Bovell.
You're so kind, Vernica, and thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be on your show, and thank you for the invitation. And just for our viewers, my name is Michael Bovell. I am a Turks and Caicos International Realty, Global Realty agent with Turks and Caicos Sotheby's. And I have been in the industry for the past 15 years. And I have been loving what I do. It's fulfilling, and it is such a great opportunity to be able to discuss real estate on this forum.
Great. So again, thank you so much for being a part of this show, and I am definitely looking forward to having this conversation with you. Two very seasoned agents who I have gotten to know quite well over the years in my real estate career. So I'm sure that we will be able to give you a lot of very informative information as we talk about this process. So like I started by saying, when I started talking about the whole idea about real estate in the Turks and Caicos, and it's made up out of vacant lots, condos, and residential homes. I would like to ask this question, and we're just going to have a conversation about it, so no particular order or anything like that, just trying to understand, how do you see, or where do you feel like the real estate market in regards to residential homes, how has it evolved over the years, and just what type of impact you think it has on the market on a whole in the Turks and Caicos Islands? And I'm asking that, like I said before, I know a lot of people put a lot of focus on the vacant lots because this is what we hear about all the time in condos, but I think we need to understand what's happening with the residential market.
Exactly. I think that the residential market has evolved to the extent of prior to Turks and Caicos market becoming as strong as it is in various sectors, and having homes were just a place to live. Now it's evolved to the point of having what we normally refer to as residential villas, which facilitate persons from all walks of life because of the different diverse backgrounds and preferences that people prefer. So that has been one segment of it that has caused things to shift in favor of the market, and the evolution is continuing.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, the market is shifting, and also you talked about, villas. When you use that term villa, it makes also a difference because people have been looking into villas as investment opportunity on island, and the vacation rental by owner market has become very popular in the Turks and Caicos Islands, and I think that has really helped to shape the whole residential aspects of the market on the island.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think too that over the years we've just seen a shift from the traditional Caribbean style home. I think more people, buyers, they want to see the modern contemporary home, and more than likely these modern contemporary homes are upscale. They're very high end, and so I think developers are responding to that, and they're building high-end luxury homes, and this is driving up the cost,
Yeah.
the value.
Correct. I think you made a very good point about the high-end homes and how it is driving up costs, and because of that, we're finding that there are less affordable, what we call affordable, like lower class price homes, and that's been creating that has created a void in the market,
Right.
and because everything has just skyrocketed, and now homes are more high-end. And
From demand.
From demand,
Yes.
supply and demand, and also, like you say, again, because of the opportunity for investment in regards to short-term rental opportunities.
Right.
Yeah. So let me ask. I would ask this question. Just talking about homes, I mean residential homes and where we've come from. During the time of COVID, do you feel that COVID has changed the market in any way, form, or fashion in regards to the emphasis on residential homes? I'm asking that because I know being in real estate for quite a long time, most times, again, you hear a lot more about people buying vacant land and people focusing on the condos because it's turnkey. But I think that COVID, in my opinion, has also shed a lot more light on residential homes for us, especially because of everyone know during COVID time people wanted to be isolated, and I
Right.
think that the residential homes became more favorable to a lot of people, and it opened up the market even more for us. What's your thoughts on that?
I definitely think so. I agree with you. We had to, practice social distancing. We had several lockdowns, and because of the lockdowns, we had to stay at home. We all had to work from home. I had to work from home. And so I think buyers wanted larger properties. I think they wanted larger properties. They wanted a room in the home that would cater to an office. They wanted more outdoor space for privacy, and just to feel comfortable and to have that convenience that the amenities are there, like a pool, maybe even a gym, because you're working remotely and you're spending more time in your home.
So the next question I would like for us to talk about, really, we're talking about residential homes, but there's always a question: why would you prefer to purchase a residential home versus a condo? What's your thoughts on that? What would you say to someone who asks that question about what's the preference of a residential home over purchasing a condo?
Ownership control. I think with a house, you have the control over the interior and the exterior because you own the land that the home sits on. Whereas with a condo, you're sharing common area, and so you don't have 100% ownership control. That's one good point I'd like to add.
And also, I mean, it comes down to preference, right? Some people preference and lifestyle. Some
Yes.
people love the ease of ownership at a condo and in a condo setting because it's easy for them. They don't have to cut the grass every Saturday. They could just leave the keys with the reception and tell them they'll be back next week. So it's a more I think it's all about lifestyle and preferences. I mean, and going back a little bit to COVID, this is what has kind of shifted the market from the condo sector in our market in Turks and Caicos to the residential sector, which has allowed the residential market to be performing so well, simply because people are now aligning themselves with having their own individual properties. They could work from home, have their workspace, they could have the gym space. Lunch breaks are not having a full lunch. It's going in the gym because you're at home, or going for a swim because you're at home in the pool. It's about convenience. So it comes down to preferences. At the end of the day, it also has to do with where your budgets are as well, right?
Oh, yes.
And anything budget matters, right? Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. I mean, you talked about lifestyle, which is really key. And what I found about many of the condo developments now, you're able to use that condo less. And because of that, I feel that for someone who really wants to experience even island living for a longer period of time, it makes it more difficult to purchase a condo and to have that option, because many of the condos now are more about investment, rental
Right.
returns. And so you're finding less and less of that. And I also feel like even if we think about it from a rental standpoint, beforehand, a lot more persons would have bought into the condo market having the opportunity to rent it themselves. But now, again, same thing, lifestyle flexibility. They're not able to do it as they would want to do it anymore. And therefore, I think, again, it points right back to having a residential home with that
Yes.
flexibility.
Yeah.
Privacy.
It also allows both sectors of the market to be able to perform at a great level in terms of whether those owners are more income driven, right? You want more income, perhaps the condo sector works for you. If you want both income versus the lifestyle of and the flexibility of being at home in your own workspace, that works for you, and you still have the ability to rent that residential home out in your absence if you're not full time.
Yeah, I'm finding not beating up on condos, but I'm finding that I have more owners who are looking to be able to spend 4, 5, 6 months in their unit at a time, and there are developments that would not allow that at all. So if you want to have the luxury, I would say, because it's a luxury lifestyle
absolutely.
of being able to really, you know, take in all the sun, sand, and sea for a longer period of time, then perhaps residential development is probably the better option.
Yeah. Which goes back to what I said. Ownership control.
Correct. Ownership control.
Yes.
I'm finding that even with those options of the residential market now, people are not just looking at beachfront properties, but they are more comfortable on inner land parcels to be able to build, because they know that the vacation rental market is very vibrant in Turks and Caicos Islands,
Absolutely.
and it's
Yeah.
growing, and it's following you wherever you go. So it's not
Yes.
just those who have a beachfront property, but also without beachfront properties. So with that question, I will ask you: do you think, or would you say that the trend in regards to location preferences for short-term vacation rentals between residential homes and condos, is this making a difference, helping to make a difference also in the choice of someone purchasing a home versus a condo?
Absolutely. I think the trend on location is still by far. Uh, every 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 renter would prefer renting on a beach or on an ocean front.
Yes, definitely.
Anyone who's looking to invest in beachfront property or oceanfront, they would want to be there. It all comes down to budgeting at the end of the
At the end
day.
of the day.
But I think to answer the question, the trend is always and has continued to be along the lines of beachfront because it is ease of getting onto into the water. It's ease of obviously you're on the beach, so you're there, and also renters are able to have higher rental numbers for beachfront versus oceanfront or versus an inland villa rental offering. So I think the trend continue to go towards beachfront and
And
oceanfront.
oceanfront.
Not discounting the fact that those villas that are out there for rent that are one or two rows back from the beach doesn't get their time of rental because they do, because there's a segment of persons who has a budget that fits the higher level as well as the lower or the middle level. And we have so many luxury properties here,
Right.
so it kind of gives you the opportunity to go wherever your budget fits
Fits
in.
you. Yeah. Stick a pin right there at luxury properties caused me to want to go back now thinking about we have so many luxury properties. Would we say that there aren't enough, when I say affordable or lower cost properties that are available on the market, and what type, if yes, what do you think are the implications of this in the long run? I'm screaming to answer first, but no, honestly, but I'm like, I don't want to just keep talking about it, but I definitely feel that that's
We
a
don't
market
have
that we
affordable-
don't have enough of the affordable properties. I mean, like in a lower income price range in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And I think it does have implications on us as a people and also the real estate market on a whole, you know? I feel definitely it does. I mean, like I say, the first thing that comes to mind right away, not having affordable homes for individuals, I'm thinking right away, the rental rates are going to increase so high because that means there are a lot more people who are renting. And because of that, there's a supply and demand issue in regards to rental. Rental rates are increasing, and that's not good for us in the local community, and that's not good overall. Yes, you're getting higher rates to get a higher return on that standpoint, but it's getting very difficult for people to manage rentals. And the implications of that is that you may have persons who are just getting into a rental property because they have no choice, but they can't maintain that high cost over a period of time. And so I feel like the rental turnover will also be quicker at the same token. That's one of the things I think is an implication, and that's why I feel that there is a shortage. Before I keep babbling on, let me know.
There is a shortage, and I think that there's just a demand from wealthy investors and second-time home buyers. This is a luxury destination. So we have people coming here, and that's what they're looking for. And so if that's what they're looking for, there's just a demand and an influx to provide that the luxury development or the high-end villas. So that's pushing prices up and making it, we just have a scarcity of the affordable homes because of the demand in that area. It's how I feel about it.
So you agree that there is a shortage?
There is
There
a
is a
shortage.
shortage of affordable
And-
homes.
And I think we have developers or wealthy investors who that's just a demand, so they're responding to it by building more luxury type villas,
Absolutely.
upscale.
Yeah. I mean, at the
That
end of the
drives
day,
prices up, right?
it does. And yes, Turks and Caicos is by far a luxury destination.
Yes.
And when we find ourselves in positions like that where you are so attractive to a level of everyone wants to take a piece of the pie and invest, and it just keep continuing to go up. Of course, it affects the lower to medium income persons, right? And at the end of the day, that allow those persons who may be looking to find affordable residential opportunities in terms of purchasing, they may not be able to play because of the high level of stakes that are already involved. So is there a shortage? Definitely. There's definitely a shortage of affordable homes in our market. And perhaps someone is going to do something about that to correct it,
Right.
and ensure that there's a level playing field.
Well, I mean, on that note, I'll say two things based on what you said about the demand. I think it's also it's increasing prices, like you said, Carolina,
Yes.
not just of homes, but also straight across the board. Because obviously, if there isn't a home in an affordable price point that I can afford, then my next option is to see how I can purchase vacant land. Because now I'm thinking vacant land is gonna I have to start on that level to be able to build. And now the demand for the vacant lots is going to increase because there are more people who are looking in the same direction. And so because of that now, so the lots increase, the houses increase, and it's just a cycle all over again.
Right.
And to Michael's point, the second thing I want to say to Michael's point about, you know, who's going to do something about it. And I'm thinking, I think this is exactly why, and I'm not speaking on behalf of anyone, but the government has recently rolled out these policies in reference to how to try to curb this shortage of affordability. Now we will have to see how it plays out in the long run.
Yes.
But I mean, it's still a step in the right direction because they have identified the problem and they're trying to work towards. And now I think they're trying to make it a collaborative effort because, of course, like I had the Honorable Minister of Housing on one of my previous shows, and he was talking about some of the incentives that they are offering to persons who are building 5 units or more to help to attract them to create some of these more affordable housing for, you know, persons on the island. So
Well,
definitely, the incentives are needed, and like you said, the policy makers, they have to come in and now, you know, breed these schemes of affordable housing.
I want to add one more point to what you said with regards to the policies that have been rolled out, and it clearly says that government has identified what the problem is. And the fact that we are such a strong luxury destination, and it's not just a luxury destination because people are just visiting, but people are investing money. And when you invest monies into countries, government makes money out of those monies. So that's a good incentive or a good thing for the government to take those funds and reinvest it in the policies they're rolling out. So kudos to them who are actually spearheading those initiatives.
Right. I want to say one more thing about, you know, affordable housing, just in this setting. You know, as a real estate agent, I'm sure you may have experienced this, but I'm going to speak from my experience. There are persons who would approach you from time to time asking you to help them to find a property. And sometimes they feel like you don't focus enough on them because of the price range in which they're in. And sometimes they're not understanding that the product is just not there. And it's very difficult to find what is not there. We can't pull the rabbit out of the hat. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes they are the most difficult customers, when I say in terms of finding the product for. And you have to explain to them from time to time that your real estate goal accomplishment may not be within one day. And sometimes we have to teach them to be a little bit more creative to know how to get to the next step. And this brings me to another point. I've had persons who say, well, I don't really want to buy land first. I don't want to go to the bank. And I had to say to them, I'm an agent and I never wanted to use the bank, but guess what? I needed to do that because I realized that the market was no longer affordable for me either. And I had to take the step to tap into the resources of the bank to be able to achieve my real estate goals. So sometimes we have to find a way around it when we are in a position like that. So I just want to say, to those who are looking, let's be encouraged and let's continue working other
Absolutely.
avenues so that we are able to get into the real estate game and achieve our goals.
And a little on your point, I think the strength of our market and how things have developed, it has allowed the local community to become way more responsible and way more understanding of how important real estate is. Where if you have it, you hold on to it, and if you don't have any, you try to get as much as you can, because at the end of the day, it becomes gold, right? It becomes gold. So yes, be patient, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should be patient and just work towards it. So, a question I want to ask, because we in the Turks and Caicos Islands, if something happens in the US, of course we're affected by it. And for the last year or so, interest rates have been increasing, and I'm sure we all know we have been impacted by us. What would you say? What's the results of the impact of interest rates or what do you want to say, like jobs or no salaries increase, these external factors that are happening around us? What's the impact of that on the real estate market in the Turks and Caicos Islands? What would you say about that?
I think it becomes challenging. I think more so for the person who's looking to buy where there's no affordability there, right? Because as rates go up, then it just lessens your chances of becoming, a game player, right? So it just becomes challenging to purchase. Your purchasing power isn't really there, right? When rates, inflation goes up, and we see it here. You just asked the question, are there affordable homes? Why isn't there affordable homes? And so your affordability just decreases.
And I think by talking affordable homes, it also, like in high interest rate, will make an affordable home non-affordable when you have to pay larger sums of money on a monthly basis. And that's what an interest rate does to you.
Yes, I mean, luckily we have. You started the segment by saying that RBC is offering some incentives. So you have to look towards the bank and see, what are their terms, what are they offering, and so it was nice to hear that RBC is helping, persons here to, try to get some affordability or be able to afford to or save towards it.
Yeah.
The reality is, when inflation comes around, it affects everyone, right? And it doubled down on those low to medium income persons.
Yes.
So even if they had constructed a plan as to how they will be going to perhaps utilize the bank resources, because employment rates are low as well, it becomes something they can't continue to move forward with because of inflation.
It's a challenge.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It affects all of us. I mean, who's not being affected by it? Go to the grocery store.
Yeah. And even on that same note, it's interesting when you understand a concept, but when you have to live and experience the concept, then your eye is even more open towards it. And I say that because, say for example, I understand what it means by interest rates. I talk about it all the time. But I never had a loan before until I decided to make an investment. And at the time when I did, now I really felt it, because when I first started, my interest rate was at a minimum. And of course, as interest rates increase internationally, it increased here. And just waiting to pay my mortgage at the end of the month, I was like, where all that money go? I was like, I had to go back and look at my statements, and I was really like, oh, I forgot
The
interest rate increase. So now living it is really experiencing. Now I'm like more tight, just like buckling down. It's like,
Exactly.
okay, the end of the month is coming. I need to buckle down.
Yeah.
And it's like, and a lot of people, I think, they know it, but if they haven't lived it, they don't really understand it. And I think it's a point where also we as real estate agents have to do a little bit more, probably not us, but still us education on, because someone takes a mortgage if they've done a property and they're just used to paying every month $200, but they don't realize the rates are fluctuating, and so some months it's not going to be $200, but it's going to be $250.
Yeah.
And if you don't pay that $50 now, you're paying interest on it. And because they don't realize and really get the full concept of how these higher interest rates and fluctuating rates at that do to you, do you.
You just touched on a very important point about the mortgaging, and that has to do with those persons who are looking for mortgages and not fully understanding like what is involved.
Yes.
It's nice and all good when you go and submit the application and you hear it's approved, right? But then at the end of the month you have to pay your mortgage, and then perhaps something in the U.S. happens, right, where inflation takes place and your rates go up, and because that person didn't fully understand how these things work, then they are like, well, what is going on, right? So yeah, so fully educating them from our side as real estate professionals, if we're dealing with customers who are subject and conditional to seeking financing, we need to ensure that they understand best we are able to provide them with the information, and also ensure that they have whoever the loan representative is explaining that loan to them, so at the end of the day they're fully aware.
They're fully aware.
Absolutely.
And that's a good point. Straight across the board, I think everyone plays an important role in ensuring that the customer understands fully the information. I remember going to the bank, just exchanging my bank card because they were swapping them out, and someone said to me, sign here. And I said to the individual, what do you ask me to sign? I said, you didn't give me an opportunity to read what I'm signing.
Exactly.
And I said to the individual, I said, you should never do that to anyone.
Right.
I said, because some people feel a bit intimidated by certain processes and they wouldn't know to ask. I said, but there are persons like myself, I'm going to read the fine print.
I was just
Right.
And
thinking that.
I'm going to
Read
make
the
sure,
fine
no,
print.
so even though I know I have to
Yeah.
exchange my bank card,
Exactly.
I need the
Yes.
card, but it's just tapping into being a little bit more patient and being more careful with your customers and making sure that they understand what they are getting involved with.
Right.
A real estate transaction, it is so important, and it's a very big investment, a very big step. And so you don't want them to just rush into it and not understand the entire picture, because you want them to be successful and you want them to be able to keep the investment
Exactly.
that they have made.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're basically down to the end of the show, and there one more question I want to ask before I ask for your closing remarks. Do you feel that the luxury market in Turks and Caicos is going to, there's still room for more expansion? And I'm asking that because, when it comes to prices, there's always that conversation about, do we feel like this high real estate market in Turks and Caicos is going to crash? And do you feel like there's still room for the luxury market in the Turks and Caicos?
Definitely. I definitely think there's still room. I mean, there's so much in the pipeline that is to come. And so yes, there will always be room. We are selling ourselves as a luxury destination here in the Turks and Caicos. We have the #1 beach, right, in the Caribbean, #5 in the world. So definitely, luxury is here, and it will stay here. We are. This is our focus. That's how I see it.
I am totally on board with that. I mean, look, Turks and Caicos is luxury all over it, right? That's a good thing for us. And we both come from luxury boutique brokerages, and our luxury properties can't stay on our books long enough, because that is what the affluent people are looking for, and there are quite a bit of them who are visiting, living, and has invested in Turks and Caicos. So it continues to grow. But I think there will always be a demand for it, because the trends keep changing, the architectural designs keep changing, people needs continue to change, so there
Correct.
will be different preferences for different type of properties. And you may be a luxury property today, but 6 years later you're older, and that person may want something brand new, right? So I think there will always be a need for the luxury property market in Turks and Caicos, and I also think that the balance is going to come with the affordability of other homes to facilitate the low to medium income persons, because if it doesn't, then we're going to have an imbalance, and that's going to create other things.
I think I agree with both of you. And I think a very prime example, again, going back to COVID, I think it really showed the interest of developers and the confidence of them in the Turks and Caicos market, because I remember doing some stats during the time of COVID just to see who were the prime buyers. And of course, the prime buyers were the luxury buyers. And they were buying without hesitation, where other medium class individuals were more conscious buyers at the time because they wanted to know, remember, it's a big investment, what's going to happen. There were the luxury brand who were just buying without fear of what was going to happen the following day. And I think
Right.
that's a really big testament to the product that we have in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And I think also because of all, like Carolina mentioned, about all the other things that the country gives, the brand that we carry.
Right.
And I think also one more thing is that the what's the word I'm trying to say? The guarantee that the torrent system gives us with ownership in the Turks and Caicos Islands,
Yes.
I think that's a really big thing for those who are investing in the islands, because you have persons come and say, what's the guarantee? Do you not do title searches? Do you not do this? And when you start to
title
explain
insurance.
to them, like I said, no
Yes,
title insurance,
right.
what the guarantee that the torrent system gives to us, that's really on the top level of people's confidence in the Turks and Caicos Islands.
Exactly, and because the registry gives such guarantee on registration, uh, it has allowed clients and customers to be very comfortable with the rest of the due diligence that they
Yes.
carry out, once they would have ticked that part of the that box in their due diligence process. One of the things I want to say when we spoke about luxury is to say that we were speaking about a luxury market. It doesn't mean that we doesn't have a different segment of the market in Turks and Caicos for those persons who may not be in the $1 million range.
Correct.
Right? We're just running in short in inventory in some aspects.
So yeah, definitely. So we've said a lot today. I think that we had a very good conversation talking about, how residential homes, villas are actually making its mark in the real estate market in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And before we leave, I'm going to give both of you an opportunity. If there is anything that we've missed out or anything that you would like to say before we part, this is your opportunity to do so.
Well, thank you, Vernica, for having me here. I've enjoyed this talk. Here with my good friend and colleague Michael. It's been good to hear the point of view from both of you too. You learn a lot from it, right? And just want everybody to know that yes, we have a little problem here now with there not being, the affordability of homes, but I think, like you said, the government is introducing policy, and with that we will see some change. I really do think so. Yet still, this we will maintain the luxury market. It's here to stay. we just need to find that balance, like Michael said, and because the country needs it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vernica.
You're welcome.
It-
Anytime.
This has been a pleasure. I intentionally delayed responding to your invitation because I wanted you to get the feeling like I was not interested, but I am so pleased to be sitting down with both of you. And thank you for the invite. And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in. We're here to serve and provide and guide you through your real estate, whatever your wishes are. And you know where to find us.
Great. So again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Carolina and Michael, for being a part of this segment of Let's Talk TCI Real Estate. For me, I enjoy talking real estate all the time, and I know you do as well as real estate agents. But it's even better when we can come together and collaborate our thoughts and our ideas and share them with the listening public. The main objective of this talk show is to share information, educate the people, so we all can get further on in our real estate opportunities in the Turks and Caicos Islands. So it was a pleasure. And again, to the listening audience, thank you for being a part of the show. And until next time, stay safe and remain blessed. Have a very good evening.
The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on this show belong solely to Let's Talk TCI Real Estate and not that of Keller Williams TCI or any of its affiliates. Any action you take upon the information provided on this show is strictly at your own risk, and Let's Talk TCI Real Estate guests or hosts will not be liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of the material. I am not an investment advisor, broker, or dealer.